well, it's sometimes you know, you have the Ubisoft thing where you have a big map with a lot of icons on it.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, I kind of like the clearing of that. Like, it is kind of repetitive. Like, you're doing every base is kind of the same. But I
Mm-hmm.
did notice that the complexity in the like maze-like structure of these bases,
Mm-hmm.
they up it. Like, they change a lot things around.
Yeah.
And
There's not a lot of repeats.
no, in like there's like prefab structures, you know, where like certain types of things you'd recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's like every base is a little different, and there's like sneaky pathways to get to certain positions, and so it does vary up enough for these things to be fun. There's the you know, instead of the towers that Ubisoft have, there's these balloons, which also serve as fast travel points.
Yeah.
So you clear them, and they're not like the first one. Of course, is very easy. You just use it. The second one needs fuel. The third one, you need to activate a switch and add fuel. So they kind of like ramp up the little quirks you have to do to make them work. Which, you know, it just varies the things up a bit. And yeah, if you have those balloons up, you can fast travel to them, so it makes the traveling a little faster. You also have home bases, of course, that you set up, which also have fast travel points. So the navigating and everything is just very gamer friendly, sort of. The
Very
game doesn't,
streamlined.
yeah, it doesn't really waste your time. Like, one thing I had so much fun with the clearing of these little objective and side things that I kind of went past the game's expectation of where I was. So I I was like, hey, there's icons. Let's do them all before I go to the next main mission.
Yep.
And then eventually I got to that point, and then it started to explain all the things that I already had done. So all the mechanics and all the things that I already figured out myself. So that was kind of fun. But it also realized that that was not a good way to play, because by playing the main quest, you also unlock new things. And that also makes sure that you spend your scrap more efficiently. But also other things, like there's a few different ways to upgrade everything. You have your car, you have your character, like with your equipment and stuff. But you also have like a sort of like, yeah, what is it, like a inner character kind of thing. There's like these figures, these mysterious figures that appear on the map. It's this guy that sells you like personal skills. So there's two ways. So, and I didn't learn that till later. So I had like a whole lot of those points to spend, which makes things a lot easier as well. So yeah, there's just a lot of mechanics to this game and a lot of things to work for. Which, yeah, kind of like this, like it's not one of those things where you grind for hours and you get one upgrade. Like you constantly have new things to unlock, which is really satisfying. And other than that, there's a little bit of room for experimentation. For example, one of the convoys, the way I cleared it is as I pulled away the armor plates from the main car.
Doors.
Yeah, and when I did, I used your hook shot for that, and then because I didn't want to fight the other cars, I just stood like in the distance, and I used my sniper rifle to blow up the fuel cans on the back. So without ever like engaging in the battle, I finished it that way, which is it's kind of neat. You can like toy around with that stuff.
Yeah, also like that with the harpoon, you can pull people out of their car.
Yeah, that's basically also, it's one of the first things you can do, which is really powerful. So if the driver is, you know, grabbable, then you can immediately just take out an entire car with one pull. But of course,
and you can steal it then.
And you can steal it, yeah, GTA style. You can board them.
Add it to your garage.
Add it to the garage. Yeah, you can. There's so much little things you can do in this game. It kind of surprised me. Also because the more you progress, the enemies will change. You'll get new enemies. You know, you get the standard stuff. Then you get guys with melee weapons. Then you get guys who have a shield and a melee weapon. Then you get guys that throw explosive at you. It just ramps up slowly, so you always have new things to fight as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, cool photo mode like I'm doing right here.
And same goes
Yeah.
for the cars. They get upgraded as well, so you get
Yes.
better versions of cars you've already encountered and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you can carry those fuel. There's the fuel tanks which you can fuel your car with, or you can use
Which
them
is
as
necessary.
or you can use them as an explosive. So you can ignite them and throw them, or you can just ignite them and place them if you need to blow up a certain door. Because once again, some of the doors you'll need explosives to open them. So there's all these little like mini gateways where you have to either acquire more stuff or upgrade stuff to get through them. Which is and of course physics are part of the game as well. It's made by the Just Cause devs. So destruction and physics-based combat. Like I had a very cool moment where I blew up a car close to me with my shotgun, and then because of the force of the explosion, I made like a somersault and I landed on my wheels at the perfect position. It was like a very cool action moment.
Yeah.
So
Have you encountered the big thing in the game already?
The big thing in the game.
Don't spoil it.
I don't
think
spoil
so.
things. No, because
do you mean the storms?
Yeah.
I got there's a few times where I had to hide from a storm. And I did one time see a storm approach me and go over me, and then I got hit, and there was the lightning stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, the physics are amazing in that.
I didn't encounter it a lot, and it was mostly like when I was a little bit like static and roaming. So of course that's going to be great when you get into a combat situation plus storm.
Yes.
If you combine all those elements, that's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to do that too. But overall great game. It's definitely one of those gems that people should at least try. And if it hits you with that, if you like it, then you'll like the whole game. It's just a lot of fun.
Satisfying.
Yeah, and like some of these objectives, like pulling these things, these towers, they're very simple. Like you don't have to do a lot to clear some of these objectives. You just attach your hook and you drive away, and bang, you got it. You're done with one of the objectives.
Yeah, and sometimes when you have a lighter car, it's funny to see the car struggle.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like because that's one thing I noticed. Like I got the ability to hook the rear what do you call it? The rims. I don't know, the things on the back of a car, like the bumper. I think. The bumper. So I could attach to a bumper. No, not the spoiler. It's a bumper, I think.
Okay.
But my car was still a little bit puny. So what I could do is attach it to that in a car combat situation. But the only thing that would happen is it would turn the car around. And then it off.
That would drag you with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, okay, well, that doesn't help a lot, but at least the car's turned around, I guess. There's a lot of things where physics are a big part of it, and having a more powerful car will actually help with that. But I now get the power to also get rip tires. So you only have to rip off one tire to basically disable a car, because I can't drive without it. So that's a very nice one.
And the crashes are great.
So
crashes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of fun, and so I'll be playing more of this. And I've you can already see the full map, like what you've not explored yet, and there's a lot. So if you're looking for a game with content to play, this one definitely has content. It's a very big game, and I'm hoping it keeps up the momentum of like new things and upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
So
here I
never got
discover. I think this is one of those doors. Yeah. See, so this one needs an explosive to get through for the balloon thing, the checkpoint. And I don't have one on me, so I was looking around for hopefully gas tank. And then, oh god damn it, I don't have a gas tank on me, because you can get one gas tank in the back of your car to take with you. But that's Mad Max. It's great. I had a lot of fun, so they'll be playing more of that for sure.
Yeah, I really hope that one day they'll make a new Mad Max game in Unreal Engine 5. I think that's going to be amazing.
I'm not sure if
the same gameplay. I don't think it ever will, but it would be.
I think because the developers Avalanche. they have their own engine, and they're still upgrading that engine. They've used it for
True.
the hunting game, and Generation
right.
Zero is one of the games they made with it as well. I think they could keep upgrading it because the engine itself is great.
Yeah.
The game runs fantastic. And
It's an older
every
game too, though. But
yeah, true.
yeah.
But if you look at the hunting game, the graphics on the how they did
Was it
nature in that, it
Hunt
is
Showdown?
extremely beautiful. No.
No?
It's what do you call it?
Caballeros Hunt or something? I don't know.
Let me see if I can
Wait,
find it
is that
quickly.
one series?
The Hunter Call of the Wild.
Oh, that series. Yeah. Not a
Yeah.
big fan.
No, but it's still it uses this engine basically.
Right.
So they're very good at open world engines and flora and fauna stuff. Of course, this one is only desert, but they can do a lot with that. So I think they could use just this engine. But yeah, of course, Unreal Engine 5 is also great. So that's another possibility. But if they do a sequel, I expect them to use their own engine at this
Probably,
point because they've spent so much time on it. That's kind of really sad if they throw it away.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that's Mad Max. And yeah, that's I've been playing some other small things like the Q remastered stuff, but
Yeah.
that's all just side stuff. So yep, that's all
Okay.
right for me.
Okay.
Good stuff. You made me buy Mad Max, and it's installing on my Steam Deck. Well, after this podcast, I didn't want to interfere with that. But yeah, I'll definitely pick it up. So, how has your week been?
Well, heavy, but I'm not going to talk about that. I did finish The Outer Worlds again last Sunday, and but I also played both.
What?
Hey, that's weird. The trailer isn't working.
Oh,
one of the
trailer's
trailers
loud
that-
now. Wait, give me a second. There
Yep,
we go.
hang on.
Okay, we're back.
I have the same thing. So, there's two deals. When the game first came out, it was also playable on Game Pass. Because Microsoft just bought the studio, Obsidian, and I really enjoyed the game. I finished in like less than 35 hours, I think, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't that long. It's a very short game. I think Avowed is going to be somewhat similar size, maybe a bit larger.
I think 35 hours is still a pretty big time investment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a Fallout in this case. It's very closed. Like I talked about last time, it's very you have smaller areas and that sort of stuff. But the two DLC that came out, Peril on Gorgon, of which the trailer apparently doesn't work. That was just a basic expansion, I think. It was a good story. Very, another new area, new planet that you can land on, or a moon of a planet in this case, I think. And then there is the one that intrigued me most was the expansion Murder on Eridanos.
That's the one we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and that one is kooky. It's fun, but there's also a puzzle element to it in that you have to find the killer of someone else.
Is it like Murder at the Oriental Express?
Sort of vibe, yeah. There's multiple characters. They added a detective device that also talks to you, so that's funny. And there's some weird shit going on.
With people smiling, something like that.
Yeah, very weird smiling, and very scary. And I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. So both expansions are definitely well worth it.
Okay.
And yeah, They added. I now finished the game in 48 hours, so that should tell you that they're pretty expansive, because there's not a moment that I stood still. So that's fun. That's a lot of fun, and I hope with the Outer Worlds 2 that they continue with this kind of thing because it's so much fun. Yeah, cool. I really liked it. Yeah.
It's my opinion that a game doesn't need to be long. It just needs to be entertaining, and it needs to have.
Oh, it's true.
It needs to feel like it's actually worth its investment, its money. And I have a feeling that the Outer Worlds just nailed it. Like it's not extremely long, but everything feels handcrafted and just wonderfully put together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, weird characters, weird monsters, and yeah, it's a fun story as well.
Less
So
chance of fatigue. I can only
yeah.
applaud that.
Hmm.
Stuff doesn't need padding.
No, no, you're right. It's a solid experience, and I hope with Avowed they do the same thing.
Yeah,
And of course, Outer Worlds too.
I think
So-
Cloud will be kind of the same thing.
Avowed, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They already said that it's going to be Skyrim, but their
Yeah.
own
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Of a similar skill.
Yeah, similar scale as Outer Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and another thing I played, I did continue with Lost Judgment finally. Did finish one chapter, but I'm not going to talk about it further because I'm still playing it, finishing
I
it.
don't want to
But
hear
else,
about it. Not in
yeah, exactly that
not
as
in
well.
detail.
No details, but it's a fun game. I really enjoy that as well. Combat is still great. But another game that I did start to play again this week, I haven't played it in a while, is Monster Train, which is a fun deck building game.
It is.
Okay.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So, Monster Train is a game where hell has frozen over, and the demons that several groups you can combine, 2 groups to play with, and they are trying to get a train with the core, the fiery core of hell, or something, to where it came from.
Okay.
They're trying to reignite hell.
To reignite hell. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My mind isn't there this week.
It's
So
helping, buddy. Don't worry about it.
I know. My mind isn't there any week, so never mind that. But no, but it's a fun deck building game, and you go from battle to battle, and in between you get new. You can add new cards. You can enhance your cards, enhance your monsters or your spells. Get new artifacts, and if you're into games like Slay the Spire, which is also really good, this one is definitely recommended.
I like it better just because it has better art. The art in Slay the Spire is terrible.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think so, but Slay the Spire, it's different art styles, sure, but I've seen worse art from deck building games, but no, this is a really good game, and I really enjoyed it so far. Really am enjoying it. It's still on right now, but I'm not going to play it right now during the podcast. But I was doing a run, so I will finish that after the podcast. So yeah, but that's the games I played. I wanted to keep it short, so yeah.
And Manjiro.
Yeah, Benjiro, what did
I
you
hear
play
some
this week?
kids, and they're not mine. It's weird.
Huh?
I heard some kids outside my house, but I don't know if the microphone
Oh,
caught
that
that.
might be it.
But might have
Yeah,
come
that
out.
might be it.
Okay.
Okay.
My
So,
back door is closed, so it's not from my place. So
Mine are asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I played a little bit of Extra Primal. I'm sorry if I didn't invite you. It was this afternoon. I needed to try a game,
you son of a bitch.
so I only played the tutorial. And
I
it's
get it. I get it.
kind of okay. It's a little
Okay.
weird. I didn't play it with
Mhm.
a controller. I just used mouse and keyboard. It's fine.
Right.
It works well.
Hmm.
What put me off and gives me kind of anxiety to jump into this game is that
Mhm.
the tutorial is very MOBA-like. Like you have a tank, you have DPS, you have a healer, and you all need to work together and you need to do these objectives. Usually it's like kill a bunch of weird dinosaurs that come that come from those spheres. And then you
Yeah.
need to do that faster than the opposing team, and that's
Right.
how you win. So it's
Right.
it's like a weird 3D MOBA experience, and I'm not really sure I'm there for that. I
Yeah.
did like the mechanics. The mechanics were fun. You can switch out your class in an instant. You can just leave your mech and you can spawn in a different one. So you can change like he does right here. So you can just change your character on the fly if need be, and then you can just be something else.
Okay.
So that you can facilitate your team better. It's an
Right.
interesting concept. I'm not sure if I see that he plays with a bot here. I'm not sure if it's possible to just keep this game offline. But when basically the story is kind of interesting. You crash landed and you got basically kidnapped by an AI, and that AI just wants to run battle data, and it keeps throwing you into these matches. So it does have a story revolving around it, and when you play your matches, the story will progress. So there is like it's not like there's no story and it's just a battle arena shooter. There is a story there, and it might actually be interesting. So for a Game Pass game, it might be fun to still explore this a bit, but I don't want to do that part on my own. So I might have to enlist Vosh here because I think there is something here. There's something interesting here. But I'm afraid it might be a little bit too much MOBA. And you know how competitive I can get when I play MOBA.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's not going to be a fun experience if it's going to be that. So I'm trying to savor myself for that. But it looks kind of okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I have to say one thing. I did read that Exoprimal currently is the number 10th most played game on Xbox this week.
Well, that's because nobody's playing on Xbox.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but you know, it was 11th earlier this week, and now
but there are like 12 players, so. Okay. I'm obviously I jest. It's.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a very polarizing game. Like the Metacritic says it's like 6.7. There are some people who have over 100 hours into this game in its first week, and they were boasting about it. That was actually a good game. Also, the bitrate on this video is terrible, but it's not the stream. But yeah, so there are people that really love it and really get absorbed by it, and then there are people that absolutely hate it. So I think it's also
does look good.
Yeah, I think it's mostly that managing expectations. People were expecting something akin to Gears of War, something akin to that, and it's definitely not that. It's an objective-based shooter. But it's
Is it always PvP? Like is there like a or can you also play?
Your objectives are PvE at all times. Like you need to kill certain amount of dinosaurs. Like there's a Triceratops coming for you, or they're spawning in a T-Rex, and you need to clear your objectives before the other team does. If you clear all your objectives before the other team does, then you win. But the other team they can shoot you, and then a respawn timer will start, and they're gonna try to stop you doing your your achievements. So there will be fights, but basically your main goal is PvE.
Oh, I think
Yeah. So the thing is they can bother you while trying to do your objectives, but that is also the downside to that is that they also take people away from their objective.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of
going on there. That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of I did see the explodey things. It's like there are enemy types where I obviously didn't see it because I just played the tutorial basically. But yeah,
you can also turn into a dinosaur if I see.
Yeah, you can get an orb and then you turn into a dinosaur. It's like doing an ult. So in the tutorial, you actually get to do that. You get to become a T-Rex and you need to eat some people. It's kind of fun.
Different classes. Okay.
Yeah. So the classes, like I said, are very MOBA-like. So you have to tank the DPS and then you have the healers.
Right.
So
and you can switch whenever. Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like it's a very Valve developed game at least. Like it's very Capcom, as in everything's fluid, everything works. It's just about if you like the game or not, which is always nice to see because we've had so many games that have like technical problems, and just to have a game that's new and does something different a little bit, that's always welcome to see.
Yeah, and
Go for it.
Okay, well, there's always something for me about Japanese-style action games. Because there's a significant difference in how Western developers approach these kind of games. With their action is also, it feels different. It looks different. It feels different. And Capcom manages to make it very fast and fluid.
Yeah. It
So,
it does draw some comparisons to Warframe when it comes to the fluidity of combat. Like Warframe
Yeah.
is it's almost like a dance that you go
Mhm.
into.
True.
And that's pretty much what you're doing here. Obviously, when you're playing tank, you're a little bit more bulky, so you're quite
Mhm.
slow, and you get the shield and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. We can check it out.
Yeah.
With a group of people, it's a fun game to just yeah, play with for a bit. But that's Exoprimal. I only played it, like I
Cool.
said, I only played it for a little bit, but it seemed like this is the fight with a Triceratops. But it seems like it does have some potential, but you need to. I need to see how the PvE PvP actually actually works out.
and how the progression is, right? Because
Yeah.
what you're doing it for, basically. Like your upgrade. There's probably upgrades, a lot of upgrades and stuff, I guess.
Mhm.
For all your classes.
There's spots for new suits and
Okay, yeah.
Right.
so yeah. Well, we will continue probably this conversation. Maybe next year. Maybe we're still playing it. Maybe we will never bring it up again after our seasonal stop. But yeah, it's something I'm gonna look into with a little bit more.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not gonna talk long about this, but I played some Diablo. This isn't my gameplay, but I played some Diablo. I actually managed to get it running on the Steam Deck, and
Nice.
my Steam Deck is running SteamOS. It's not running Windows, so because you can run anything on Windows,
Wow.
that would really be a feat. But I got it running on the Steam Deck, and it runs at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
Like
So
obviously the
You're ahead of the curve.
yeah, so it's running really well. It runs at 800p, so it's not 1080 because the screen is not 1080, but
Uh-huh.
it runs well. I'm
Nice.
really happy about it. So last week, for example, I was done. I kind of didn't want to turn the computer on because it has the tendency to get a little bit hot in this room. So I just laid down. I grabbed my Steam Deck and I played Diablo for an hour. Obviously, the battery kind of drains with it. You have like 2.5 hours of battery life, and then it's dead. And your Wi-Fi connection kind of needs to be good, otherwise, you're gonna start getting laggy. But it works, and I actually got some additional hours in, and I'm completing Act 3 right now, going towards Act 4. There's Act 4, and then there's Act 5, which are a little bit shorter than the first initial 3 acts. So I might actually finish this game before the holiday, and then when I come back from holiday, I will probably start going into seasonals. People are not really happy about it because they nerfed a bunch of classes and they increased the amount of experience you need to level up. So people aren't happy about the latest changes this game made. But I'm still having a blast with it. It's fun. I didn't really notice that my character got weaker, but I probably didn't play one of the top tier builds. I'm completely okay with that. So yeah, just continuing and playing it on the Steam Deck is just another way I can enjoy this game and have fun.
Cool.
So today is Friday the 21st. A new
21st.
closed beta started. So I tried to play this closed beta. So it's the Crew Motorfest. I got some keys. I think they were very easily obtained because I got like 4 emails from Ubisoft saying that I had keys to give away. So I posted a link over on Discord, and I got like a PS5 version key. I have a PC key. Like nobody's playing on Xbox, so I guess they're not giving those away.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
I
I
got
know.
an Xbox key in the email somehow.
That was a joke.
This was a closed beta, though, right?
Yeah, it's a closed beta. So
is it not under NDA?
no, it's not under NDA. No,
not.
it actually states in the email that you can record footage, you can do whatever you want. This obviously is just a trailer, so I can talk about it. But it runs like shit on PC. So
it's bad. It's really bad.
A little backstory about that. So I got my new card in. My old card was rented. I know it sucks, but my previous card kind of died and didn't die. It went to my wife's PC because of her card. kind of did die.
Yeah.
And I needed something new to stream. The 1080, the GTX 1080 just wasn't cutting it anymore. So I moved over to the 3080, but it was, Bitcoin season. So everything was expensive as hell. So I decided to actually rent one because it would be cheaper than just buying one. Back then, like 18 months ago, that car, the 3080 Ti was going for like 2,400 euros, which was ridiculous. Was literally ridiculous. So I rented it because it's cheaper. But my rent time was up. The contract was up. I could extend it and keep the 3080. But I decided to move away from it, and I got because I'm already running AMD. I just decided to move over to AMD. So I got the 3900 XT, which is a pretty decent card. It came out early this year, and it's kind of akin to a 4080. So I started up the game, and this was the first game I played on my new graphics card. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play this. I'm just gonna play the beta. It's gonna run fine. I just got a new card. My CPU is definitely still great. And when I got to the menu, it's at 30 frames. Okay, they capped it on 30 frames. It's kind of weird. They usually don't cap menus and burn out cards, but I guess they learned from that and they decided to not do that. But what did happen is I tried to run the game. Apparently it was set to low, so everything looked like shit. And it was running at 17 frames, dropping down to the low 10s and even below 10. And that was during the opening cutscene.
Oh god.
So I was okay. I might have screwed up my drivers. So I checked my drivers. My drivers were fine. I installed Forza 5 because I needed to make sure I didn't make the biggest mistake because I sent the other card off today before testing this. So I was like, okay, I don't want to pay for another month of 3080, so I'm just gonna ship it off as fast as I can. So I was like, oh my god, did I make the worst mistake in my life? Rebooted my computer, tried it again, still hitting that 17. Checked online. People who are running a 4090 are having the exact same issue. The PC version is just broken. Ubisoft hasn't said anything as of now. It's been a few hours since the actual game went live. Apparently, for some people, it worked to downgrade their drivers. Because the latest AMD drivers are the issue. But NVIDIA, like I said, 4090 people are reporting the exact same issue.
Yeah.
So it's not just a driver's issue.
Yeah, the AMD thing with the downgraded drivers is mostly because the game won't even run. It crashes immediately.
Oh, okay. It ran for me, but it just runs slowly.
Yeah. So people with a small with an AMD card, a lot of people with an AMD card notice that the game instantly crashes. I had the same thing. I tried it 4 times. It just keeps crashing, and apparently downgrading it would help. It would actually start up, but as you said, it probably won't run well.
It did crash for me once because I was trying to troubleshoot it. So I moved it from my 1440p monitor over to my 4K. It was like maybe if I actually run it at a higher resolution, it might figure out that it needs to use my graphics card instead of absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But I just crashed the game.
Yeah.
That just crashed the game.
The people who can play it, I'm seeing videos and GIFs of the frame rate, and it is bad.
Yeah, so it's already a racing game that's locked to 60. You can't go over 60, which is kind of okay. Most people love to have a higher frame rate, especially on racing games. But I guess 60 is fine for me. I know Matsman probably has a different view. Like 60 is like the bare minimum of being fine.
That depends. I mean, I can easily tell if a game is 60 versus above it now. So I'm at that level where I can see that easily and feel it as well.
Right.
But 60 should be okay, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering because this is the crew, right? Yeah. They're using the same engine again. I imagine, like the previous games.
I think, but I think they updated it a lot with new features and that sort of stuff. So I think that's where the issues are coming from. It's definitely not optimized on PC yet.
No.
I am getting reports that on PlayStation and Xbox it runs fine. It's just PlayStation
Yeah,
5 and Xbox Series X and S, by the way. The full game will come to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One.
It will.
But
I
yeah.
doubt it.
No, it will.
It will get cancelled.
For Xbox One, maybe. But from my understanding, it is still coming to PlayStation 4.
Okay.
But that's not currently in the beta right now because, it will be heavily downgraded, of course, for those platforms.
Why can't I?
So, from my understanding is that on PlayStation 5, it really works well with the DualSense controller. But, it should run on PC as well.
It should
Yeah.
definitely run on PC. So, if you
It's
guys
crazy,
want,
man.
I can actually run it over on this stream, so you guys can actually see how terribly it runs.
Sure.
Okay, let me
I'm
just
interested.
pause this.
It's just a shame because I really enjoyed the Crew 1. And I finished the story of the Crew 1. And I did a lot of stuff in the Crew 1. I didn't finish it in the Crew 2, but I don't own it yet, so...
Just give me a moment to boot the game.
Yeah, that's okay. In the meantime, so what is there another thing you wanted to talk about?
No,
This is
that's
Crew.
it. After this,
Okay.
we can go into main topic
So-
stuff.
You mentioned getting Diablo 4 working on a Steam Deck,
Yes.
and there's news about that this week.
There.
About
Oh,
Blizzard
you
is-
want to segue that? Okay, well we can segue to that. There is news that Blizzard is starting to bring their games over to Steam. They're
Yep.
starting with Overwatch at the end of August, early September. I don't have the date.
Was it August
here
10th,
at hand.
I think?
No, I think it's
even?
a little later.
Or
I
could be.
might be at least in August. They're gonna bring over
we-
Overwatch. Overwatch is the first one they're gonna bring over. They might bring
Yep.
over other games in the near future.
Mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting that they're bringing over Overwatch. First of all,
Mhm.
Overwatch is a free-to-play game, so it's really easy
Yep.
because they don't need to, they don't have to worry about licensing.
Mhm.
They don't have to worry about people actually owning a key on the Battle.net store and not being able to transition
Yep. So
transition
that's a
over
lot
to Steam.
easier.
So it's really
Mhm.
easy. You do still need your Battle.net login to actually play the game.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
so it's basically it's gonna start the Battle.net launcher and just boot the game.
I mean, yeah.
The Ubisoft way, basically.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be the
and
Ubisoft
others. I know that 2K added a lot of launchers to their games as well.
way. Okay.
So
I
yeah.
moved over to the actual gameplay on the
Mhm.
stream. It's still loading, but I moved it over. Loading takes forever too, by the way. I don't know why it's running on an SSD. So the easiest thing to do is just go into settings. We're gonna be very total biscuit about this, and we're just gonna
Oh, God.
we're just gonna look.
Does
at
it
least-
have an FOV slider?
It might.
Oh God.
We're just gonna look into the actual video here. So right now it says that the last average frames I had on
Oh
this
my
game
God.
was 17 frames.
Or you can
As
run
you
a
can see,
benchmark, too.
I'm running
Oh,
I will. I'm running the AMD Radeon 7900 XT. It's not the XTX, so it's not like a TI version, but still, it should definitely run this game. It's running on 1440p. It has VSync on, and it's capped to 60. You can also cap it to
Okay.
30,
There we go.
but
There
we
go.
don't really need to. You can go higher than 60.
Why would you cap it at 30? I guess it just makes it more
I don't know.
efficient.
guess.
probably,
It's like
if you're on
console
low
settings,
spec.
right?
Yeah.
So then we're just gonna look over at quality, and right now it's set at custom. So texture filtering is high, which should be fine, I guess. Shadows are high, geometry. So some stuff is high, most stuff is like medium. We can even just be like, okay, we don't like that. We're gonna put everything on low. Okay,
Right.
the game looks terrible now. We're going to apply this, which is B, which is weird. Why would apply B on B? But okay, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna nag about buttons. I'm gonna
Seems
run.
like a very fast port, like someone just literally a very
Okay.
basic port.
So we're running on low now,
Probably, yeah.
and I can already see that we're currently sitting at 18 frames.
Yeah, see that in the top left. Oh my god.
Oh, mind you.
I'm not seeing it on the stream.
You
Top
should-
left, all the way to the top left. I see the frame rate.
And you can also see the giant
No,
box that
I'm-
says.
The stream here is very behind.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
It's also very loud. I'm very sorry about that. We're after this benchmark, we're gonna quit it. But
I'm not hearing anything from the game. So.
I can hear the sound.
Oh
again,
yeah,
if I close it.
I didn't but I didn't have the thing on.
okay. But it,
I didn't have
the
on
sound is not
screen.
the most important part. The most important
You know-
part
No,
is
no,
that
no.
it's running like crap.
It's
Yeah.
funny though because it looks like it's a very consistent.
now you're running the
frame rate
benchmark?
somewhere.
But it's dropping. It's still
Yeah,
at
it's still dropping. Yeah, starting at 17, then it went to 15 for a bit.
Where are
and
your
then
streams?
13.
Because for me the stream is very much behind, I guess.
No, it's fine for me. But I'm also I also have the low latency option on the
Right.
player.
Yeah, me
okay,
too.
so that's
well.
it. Look at this, it's beautiful. I'm going to screen cap this so I can post it later.
Mhm.
Okay. the
Uh,
full screen mode doesn't help either.
So
probably.
your frame rates dropped to 12 at
Oh,
the
yeah.
minimum. Damn,
And
that's not good.
no, it's very bad.
It's very bad. It's very badly optimized. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I'm
I
going
didn't catch
to
everything because
turn that off. That's fine. And we're
the
going
stream was behind on my
move on.
side.
Matt saw it, and any viewer who will look at it later can also
Yeah.
check it out. So
Yeah, so it's not good.
it's not
Nope.
great.
It's not great.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
will probably check it out over the weekend on PS5 because I did get a PS5 key. I did install it on PS5, but I was kind of, I was kind of in the mood of trying out my new video card, seeing how that would
course.
run. And
Yeah.
other games are running just fine. Like I said, I installed Forza, and for Forza is running at 4K over 120 frames, everything maxed
Nice.
out, and
Nice.
it's fine. But this game just it doesn't run. And like
Wow.
I said, I'm not the only one. There are more people who are having this issue.
Oh yeah.
It's so
play.
weird.
I couldn't play today.
Because
I really wanted
it's
to.
like some is it like a super common issue? Like everybody
Yeah.
has it, or
Mhm.
or is it just like a few people with
No,
certain
no.
setups?
Seeing a lot of people talk about it on the PC.
So I've
Okay.
checked Reddit, and when I checked it, Reddit was starting to fill up. Like the thread was starting to
Yeah.
get used. There were like 20 people.
Oh, okay.
But then I checked Twitter, and Twitter was starting to blow up as well. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the
there's
PC port is not doing well.
No.
Which is weird because this is something you should have probably checked ahead of time.
Yeah.
And this is something you could have caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little
100%.
bit, like a few internal tests would have been enough to
Yeah.
find
So-
stuff like that.
It probably ran fine on the QA hardware, but if they would have tried running it on something else, they probably would have ran into the problem.
Yeah, they should have done that. So people are playing on Xbox Series S as well, and it works fine on it. So it's weird.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're gonna do because obviously it's a closed beta. It's gonna be gone by the end of the week.
Weekend,
by-
I think.
Yeah, the end of
Just
the
this
weekend.
weekend.
So
Yeah.
I think it's just up until Sunday. I'm not sure if they're
might
gonna
as-
extend the PC version or if they're gonna
Would be
redo it
cool.
and try it again.
Yeah,
Or
I
if
can see
they're
them do another
or
beta.
if they're gonna hot patch it, or they're going to hot patch it,
Mhm.
tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe try tomorrow.
But
So-
Ubisoft hasn't answered to any of it. They haven't
Nope.
given a formal statement. They didn't say anything about it. So right now we don't know what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
do.
shame, though. It's a shame.
Yeah, because from my understanding, it's the handling is way better than the Crew 2's. So
Okay.
yeah.
I kind of
I know.
finished Forza 5, so I was looking for something that might fill that void. Just
Yeah.
a fundraiser, and this might have been it.
Mhm.
But for anybody who is feeling soured by Motorfest, not working on PC, there's a free weekend over on Steam for Need for Speed. Need for Speed Unbound. Give that
should
one a
install
shot.
that one.
It's a fun game. It's definitely it definitely very akin to something like Need for Speed Underground. It kind of feels the same way. You can deck out your car. The story's kind of lame, but that's kind of what we expect from these Need for Speed narratives nowadays.
Yeah.
They're pretending to be the Fast and the Furious, but then like a B movie.
Mm-hmm.
it's a little lame on that regards, but the gameplay is fine. The way you can customize your cars is fine. Obviously, it's not the same as the crew would be, but it's something to maybe play over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
That's it for this. So let's move
Yep.
on to the main topic.
And not some news stuff.
Oh, we can move on to the news first. That's right.
Well, it depends on what you want to
Well,
talk about.
we
I mean,
already talked about some of the
Well,
news,
one
so we
thing,
can continue. So we
Mhm.
talked, yeah. So Fush, you put this on here, so you can take the word. Talk about Bungie.
Right. So well, I think last month, news came out that Bungie won a massive case against a pretty big case against someone who was harassing their employee, so one of their developers.
Yeah.
So they worked with many outstanding professionals, according to Catherine Tewson, who brought this news forward. I'm not sure what she does, but
Thanks.
we got yesterday on behalf of Bungie. So she works for a lawyer. She's a lawyer.
Law firm.
Law firm. Yeah, she's a lawyer. So they found the person who was doing it because they were hiding behind their anonymity on the internet, of course, because it turns out they were they're a massive racist,
Okay.
and they were also threatening that employee.
Oh.
And Bungie said, okay, this is the final straw. We won't condone this. We're going to find out who it is. We're going to throw everything we can at them. And so they won a case making the person liable for nearly $500K.
Wow.
In costs, because that's investigation, protection, and legal costs. So they are liable for that, for the cost. And what's important here is that it's a studio that stood by their employees. We've heard a lot of stories about women being harassed, and other people of color being harassed.
I agree
on the internet.
It's
yeah, and it's a good thing in this case. But
I'm very sorry. You can't give just a civilian a $500,000 debt. Like, that's just you're ruining. I get that person was absolute ass, absolute ass.
Yeah,
but ruining
don't harass people on the internet.
for the
Don't
rest
threaten
of
their
their
lives.
Yeah, but you're ruining some. Like, I would give like 50K because somebody will feel the pain for about 5 to 10 years. But giving somebody $500,000 in debt because of this is ruining their lives for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
It's gonna ruin their kids' lives.
There are ways to deal with that. So
like I agree that there needs to be punishment, and I'm happy that there's an example set here. I just think that the actual fee is really
it's the
high.
US. It's the US.
Which makes it difficult for the person.
Yeah.
Because
more difficult.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's a little bit overkill in my honest opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, 100K. I would be like, yeah, that person just F them. But
sure.
$500,000, it's just you literally ruins somebody's family. And I agree that you should.
They ruin someone else's life.
I know.
For a long time.
And I think that should be punishment. I just think that this is very overkill, like Metzman said.
I mean, that's on the
I know
law
I'm
firm,
playing.
that's,
I'm playing devil's advocate here, but
just you don't always need to. But yeah, I kind of get what you mean. But in this case, people need to be held accountable for what they do on the internet, especially when it comes to harassment and that sort of stuff. So this sets a very good precedent. This is very good, and I'm glad that Bungie decided to stand by their employee and not, fire that employee because they are, quote unquote, a problem for the company in the eyes of the people. No, it's just
I agree.
don't attack the developers.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
If you have a problem, I think we just did discuss this last week. But if you have a problem with a studio and the way they make games, be pissed at a company. Don't be pissed at a person, because that person is just working there and they're trying their hardest to make the best thing they can.
Exactly.
And they can't control every aspect of the game. They can't control what how monetization is handled when they're a level designer. They can't control that kind of stuff. That's so be pissed at a company. Never be pissed at an employee. Don't harass employees, because they are. Don't threaten their lives. Don't harass them. Don't ask them. Don't send them dick pics because you want to know when a game comes out. Just be a normal, understanding human being. Yeah. That's what you need to do.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an ass.
There's also still one of the things is that there's still so much like ignorance around game development. Like people don't understand how it works.
No.
So and then every time I try to, I sometimes get into this discussions with the people. They think that it's just one big, like it almost like it's one person. Working on the game, and that
the games might be, but very.
But also, they don't even understand the structure. Like they think that, very simple example is that Tarkov puts in new guns in the game, right? Constantly, and then someone says you should work on netcode and optimization and not add more guns. What they think is that it works on a priority list. Like one big group of people, but they actually have different groups within the studio that do different things. So there is a guy always making new guns and skins and stuff. That's their job. Cool. And then there's programmers who do the optimization and bugs and stuff.
I mean, there's a dedicated person for the netcode in most cases.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are probably a team of network engineers who are looking at that stuff, going through that.
Yeah. So people are always attacking developers as like one big voice. But it's not. Even the people on Twitter are community managers. The only thing they do is hand over messages to the internet, basically. And that's their job. They're keeping in touch with the community. They don't develop the game. Like they're not programmers. They're not designers. So there's a lot of ignorance going on that, and I always wanted. I'm always a very big favor of more awareness and more documentaries about game making, just to let people know that if you're going to swear against the guy, it's like we said, it's often not the person who's responsible, especially not when a game has big decisions being made by higher ups, right? Publishers even that don't even have their own hand in the game.
Sorry.
So there's just there's just I see it's like it goes so far, even like with voice acting, right? When voice actors of Last of Us were being harassed.
When Lauren Bailey was getting harassed because of her character.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting to. Is
what the fuck?
You're playing that's their job to play a character that you don't like or that you feel hateful towards. Yeah. It's not them. They're fictional characters, and some people just don't have that.
They don't understand that
they can't separate reality from video game.
It was the same. It's not just video games. It's the same with regular actors. The guy that played Joffrey on Game of Thrones. He was that little shit king.
He was really good at playing that. Yeah.
But people actually hated the actor. When they saw him on the street, they were spitting at him. Yeah. Well, he was just portraying a role. He had a piece of paper, and that piece of paper had words, and he was performing those words.
Exactly.
That was his job. And if people hate him for it or hate that character for it, then he did a good job. You should congratulate the guy for putting on a good performance instead of hating on him.
Yeah.
And the same with Laura. I mean, Laura did a great job portraying Abby, and Abby was character nobody liked at first because I'm sorry, I'm gonna spoil this for anybody who hasn't played this, but yeah,
The Last of Us Part 2.
she killed
Yeah.
Joel, and that's.
Mhm.
But if you look at the actual character of Joel, Joel was an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joel was a
that's
giant
what-
asshole.
exactly. Like he caused it.
Yep.
He basically caused his own demise
Yeah.
in The Last of Us 1. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And people forget. That's why I always get in these discussions with people hating that. But I thought that The Last of Us 2, at least, because I haven't seen the whole game or played the whole game, but I thought that was brilliant because it shows you that actions have consequences,
Yeah.
Exactly.
especially in a world like that.
Yeah.
And
that-
not
yeah.
just that, because I also haven't finished the game, but what I did see that people were hating on Abby very early on after Joel died, and then by the end of the game, they actually came to like that character. You saw there was the more people finished the game, you saw there was a shift towards more of an understanding towards the character, and some people even saying that it's the best character within that universe.
Yeah.
Because you grew with that character at some point that became the playable character, and you came to like her because you started to understand her reasoning behind her actions.
Yes.
And that's actually good writing. And Laura performed that wonderfully. But yeah, you were supposed to hate that character. Just don't hate on the actor. And it goes for everything. Like I work in IT, and I'm not like a service desk kind of guy that people come to with problems. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. But sometimes when I talk to one of my quote unquote customers, they were like, they go like, you know what shit? Microsoft Word. And the only thing I can say to that person is, I'll tell Microsoft that you hate their program.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I need this to change. Like that's fine, but I don't make that program.
Yeah.
So I can't help you with this. I know that you are frustrated because you didn't get something done. That's fine, but I can't help you with that. So it happens across literally every type of job. Everybody comes across that people think you're an influence on something that you actually have nothing to do with. So yeah, they just don't be a shit in general. Like within the game industry, but also outside of the game industry, just let people be people and understand that nobody has God mode.
Yeah.
Except Elon, he needs to fix Twitter. You stupid sack.
Also,
Dude can't fix shit.
Word does suck, by the way. I hate Word. And I work in that field, so.
I'll tell Microsoft.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So coming back to Diablo, just for a second. Yesterday, I did put a tweet out there that I was in a very error 37 kind of situation. The new patch dropped. People hated the patch. People were nagging at Blizzard. I was nagging at Blizzard, but I was nagging at Blizzard Entertainment, literally the handle, not an individual developer, mind you. The new patch kind of sucks, but the game did go down yesterday because it was getting hammered with
everyone wanted to try out.
Everybody trying to try out the new season. So don't attack your network engineers because the game isn't working. Like I kind of did an ironic tweet, like Blizzard, please help us out because we can't log in. But that's it. I didn't attack anyone.
Yeah.
And if you want to do something like that, that's fine. But don't attack a person.
Yeah. The person. Person.
I don't know why I all of a sudden went British there, but okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Next up, handhelds will need to have replaceable batteries. This is because of an EU law that just passed. By 2027, every handheld device will need to have their batteries be replaceable, which is fantastic. It's like we're actually, I have to say, like I'm not big into politics because usually it devolves into absolutely nothing. But but here in Europe, we made USB-C a standard that every company needs to uphold, which is fantastic because you're not going to need 16 different cables. And now we're going to get replaceable batteries. I have to say, we're on the tech side of things, we're doing a good job.
Yeah. Also, because of EU laws and our right to repair stuff, things have changed in the US as well.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
hopefully they will follow suit. They are trying to follow suit with USB-C. They don't have that law yet, but I know that they're working on it. And they might do the same with replaceable batteries. But we need to keep it up.
Yeah.
This is really good stuff. Being able to repair your consoles, being able to get a replaceable battery is fantastic. At some point, these lithium batteries will run dry. They will start
Yeah.
depleting faster. It will happen. And
Yeah.
it's fantastic that we're going to be able to replace those. So keep up the good work.
I mean,
Good stuff.
eventually we're going to get new types of batteries that are less draining on the environment. They are working on stuff, but lithium battery development and research and development has stood still for decades. So we are only playing catch up now. So yeah, I hope that in the future we won't have a need for lithium batteries anymore. But maybe sodium batteries, because that's a thing they're working on. So
We'll
yeah.
see. With the electric cars, obviously they're working on new ways to store energy. So hopefully that will translate into something a little bit more small, like mobile phones, handheld devices. Like I would love to be able to replace my Steam Deck battery at some point. Maybe even juice it up, get a better battery, a bigger one that gives me more playtime.
Yeah, I did the same thing for the Wii U. They came out with a bigger battery for the handheld part.
For the gamepad, yeah.
For the gamepad, and that worked really well. Yeah, gave me a lot more. Yep, you can replace that battery.
It's just one screw. It's just a singular screw.
Yep, I'm not sure if you can still buy the battery right now, but I did replace the battery.
You can still buy them from China. You can get them on AliExpress.
Right.
And usually this stuff is not knockoff. It's kind of good. I bought parts from AliExpress before, and they never let me down.
Okay.
Next up, Microsoft and Sony signed a deal for Call of Duty, which is kind of ironic. So what happened is they signed a 10-year deal, I think.
10 years.
Came across.
For Call of Duty?
It's just Call of Duty. Well, the previous deal they had before, so Sony started to throw a hissy fit because of this acquisition, was for all Activision games.
Activision games,
Wow.
yeah.
So
they wanted that. They wanted that. I don't think they ever got that deal.
I think they had the ability to sign that. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
They had a deal for all Activision games, and now they just got caught.
Yeah.
So
not just caught, but I think the other games are until 2027. So Activision games will continue to come on. Current franchises will still be available on PlayStation platforms until 2027, and after that, we'll see how it goes. So it's going to be another case-by-case basis.
And this one kind of goes into our main topic, although we've been running kind of long already when it just comes to news.
Just go to the main topic now. Fine.
Are we still going to get a console next in about 7 years? By 2027, will consoles still be a thing, or will we move on to mostly streaming and just having maybe an app on your TV that will work?
No, please don't.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I think if Microsoft and or Sony are going to try that for next generation, then we'll get a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
Because people are, gamers are technical. They understand what negative things streaming games bring. And I think that we're just not ready for it. And even unless the technology advances in such a way that you can get the same experience as a lossless quality console game, if we can get there, then yes.
Yeah,
but as of now, another big problem, of course, is internet speeds are not the same everywhere.
Nope.
Also, depending on the country you live.
Yeah.
So
data caps are still a thing.
Yeah, data caps are still a thing. Somehow, there's too many flaws and too many bad things that could cause problems, and could cause Microsoft and or Sony to lose a big chunk of their audience that way.
Okay.
So that's my
That
thing.
won't change real fast.
Let me reel it back in slightly.
Mhm.
Does the next console still have physical media?
Now
I hope so, but
I don't think so. I think that might be one of the things that's going to change. We've seen games like Alan Wake 2, and there's some other games that are probably not going to get even a
Like a
physical
Dragon
version.
series is getting a physical release here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
yeah, that
Like
sucks.
they're trying to
I knew it
already.
kinda.
Yeah, we already have empty boxes right now with codes in them.
Yeah.
And I
for
think
example,
Yeah.
for example, Starfield, you got the $300 Watch Edition.
yes,
It comes with a
Yeah.
digital code.
Yep, I
Mhm.
know. So I'm gonna put in the code into probably Steam, and then that's it. That's my way of getting the game.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Horizon Forbidden West, Forbidden West. It got the collector's edition only came with the digital code, even though the game did get a physical release. The game only came with a digital code, which
I think
is silly. But,
the one that started that was Borderlands 3. That actually they
think
had
so,
a
yeah.
collector's edition, and the collector's edition was basically just a merchandise box. And then that's what it turned into. So collector's editions are kind of turning into merchandise boxes. We see it happen with Starfield. We see it happen with Forbidden West, and obviously back in the day, it kind of started with Borderlands.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we're gonna see more of that. To be honest, we also see it with Larian, and I know that was actually kind of another story that we wanted to get into, but Larian, also the game doesn't. First of all, the game doesn't come physical to any of the consoles, so it doesn't come physical to PS5. But you can buy a collector's edition, and the collector's edition again is just a giant statue. So some like an additional cloth map or something like that, and a digital code.
Yeah. And I think another problem with physical media is the reading speeds and stuff like that. Like we have Blu-ray now, but Blu-ray, like there's hardly any. I don't think there's many games unless they're like smaller scale that run off the disc primarily.
True.
And it used to be. We were at a certain point in the generation where it would install a small part of the game, or only updated data like patches and stuff. But the game would always be running from the disk itself, and that is already kind of gone. Most games, you install the game from the disk, like the big data chunk, and then there's always going to be a patch after that, the launch day patch, and that's how you play games nowadays. And I think it's just like a storage medium. Yeah.
The only thing the disc is right now is it's a handshake. It checks if you have the physical disc, because then you have a license and then you can play. Yeah. That's the way this kind of works now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. What Xbox, for example, is doing with backwards compatibility. So you can grab your old Xbox One original disc or Xbox 360 disc, and it recognizes you own it, and then you can, then it still downloads a digital copy, but you can play the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be good. I think it's going away. I think the next generation. I think we're going to lose the whole digital or the whole physical media.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that because I love having my collection out on display.
Yeah,
and that
I mean,
stuff, so.
there will still be probably empty boxes that you can store. And of course collector's editions and stuff. It's not the same, but I think we do have maybe it's painful. But we might have to accept that this is the future.
Yeah,
it is, because
it is.
It's also the way how data is loaded from a game. It's all SSDs. It's all going to be all fast loading, and the disk is not a necessary component anymore.
No.
So
what I do see happening is that for next generation, for the next Switch, for instance, there's still going to be physical media. But I think for the next PlayStation or the next Xbox, I don't think Yeah, it would be a damn shame, but I'm already used to it on PC.
Yeah, I mean, for PC,
yeah.
we only have digital mostly.
Yeah.
Like with Steam and all the other platforms, it's
Even Blizzard stopped selling physical games. Like you can't get the physical version of upgrade for World of Warcraft anymore. Back in the day, you could buy those big boxes. You still can, but it doesn't have a game anymore. It just holds
just
the
the key.
code,
yeah,
and it still has the
everything
art
is
book.
yeah.
So yeah, for PC, Steam kind of killed physical media, and we saw a decline in stores, and we kind of see the same thing happening. I was at the toy store last weekend, and I glanced over at the video game section, and you still see kind of a big wall of Switch games. You see a smaller wall, like half of this size would be PS5. And a little bit of 4, and then you see like a tiny little shelf, like not bigger than my monitor. That's Xbox. Xbox hardly has any. So
true, but it's also because the Xbox really didn't sell for the longest time, and that's funny because right now Xbox sales of the console itself are going up a lot.
Yeah, but people are still buying on Game Pass.
But you want to know why those sales went up suddenly? Because Microsoft brought back the servers for classic Call of Duty games.
Yes.
Really?
So for the 360 versions. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. I mean,
that's kind of funny.
that's one of the whole acquisition thing. It does have a few positives, and that's probably one of them.
Yeah. I mean, they even brought back the Shadowrun 2007 server.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is interesting because that was one of those games that people,
I enjoyed it.
A very interesting idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the first hero shooters.
Yeah.
So but I have it physical. I did get a PC copy. I don't know if I don't have it anymore, but people do say that they got their PC versions working. But we just it's weird because there's a lot of interest in retro gaming suddenly with the older Call of Duties, and there's a small contingency of people still playing the Shadowrun game.
You can buy Shadowrun. Just checking. You can buy Shadowrun on the Xbox side. You can buy it digital right now for $15.
Yeah, but it's just the Xbox version, I think, right?
Yeah, Xbox 360 version.
Not the PC version.
No, true.
Because that's the one. That one's still games for Windows Live, I think.
Yeah.
So, but they might do something with that again. But
no,
don't
you
expect
can buy
the
the version for
it,
Xbox. You cannot buy the version for PC.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. So, but I have an Xbox 360. I don't have an Xbox Series S or X. But because of this, but because of this, I might want to get one at some point. Because I really did enjoy Shadowrun back in the day.
But
if people are playing it.
The big problem I have with this of physical going away is indeed I like to have my games physical, specifically the Switch. Like I care way less about Xbox. I care way less about PlayStation because I know that those discs they don't hold any actual data.
Well, most of them do. Some of them don't.
Yeah, but the question that I ask myself, and usually I can't answer, is what if I unplug my console? Can I still play that game? And either you play a buggy mess or you're missing content because only a part of it is on disc. So those games don't feel complete. Unless you buy like a Game of the Year edition that's down the road that includes all the stuff on disc, then you're fine. But if you buy something day one, you usually you're not gonna have your day one patch on the disc, so you're gonna have an inferior version.
Yeah, in most cases it's fine. Usually that's an issue with big bug buster games. Yeah. So
when these servers will eventually die, those games are going to be gone.
Yeah,
I think Nintendo might be the outlier. Nintendo might be one that doesn't go with the trend that we.
I have some games that I put on my Switch. And it's interesting because I log it in. I just got a new game. I just put it in there. And I'm surprised that it doesn't have any patches. Like I put it in there. The first thing I do is I check if it has a patch. It says, "Look, nope, just version 1.0.0.0. That's it."
Yeah.
And that's the game.
Same with me in playing the Zelda games on the Wii U. I was kind of worried. Oh God, is it going to be up to date and all that? There's no such thing. You put in the disc and you start the game, and it's the complete experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to download anything. But yeah,
we
that's
need more of that.
Yeah. Yes.
It's called polish.
Yeah, but it's also, you also have to think that games are getting way more complex in terms of systems.
You were cutting out.
You were cutting
both
out.
of us.
Me?
Yeah.
Am I back or not?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So I was saying that games do get way more complex as time goes on.
Yeah.
And also demand more, of course, on the graphical side of things. And that's why we see so much more patching on big AAA titles on big consoles and PC, especially PC has been a big thing. As we noticed with the last big AAA games not doing so well on launch.
Nope.
And I hope that's we get a period of good stuff again. But I wonder if that's going to still be a trend, especially of course with games like Starfield, which is going to be a really good measurement. If that game comes out and is relatively stable for a Bethesda game with that scale, because I kind of feel like it could be. But I think a lot of people have already rang the alarm bell so many times that maybe developers are gonna, take that into account for their titles as well.
They kind of have to, because not every game can handle a resurgence.
Yeah.
So some games just don't have that time to get better and wait on those patches. Some games are just forgotten because there are so many games coming out lately. We have, which is ridiculous. We have Baldur's Gate coming out early next month for PC.
And PlayStation 5 eventually.
The PlayStation 5 comes out in September. And we also have Starfield coming out in September. These are two gigantic, huge games. And one of them is going to steal the thunder away from the others. Obviously, they're both RPGs. They don't have the exact same mentality, but they're both giant, expensive games.
Yes.
That can keep you playing for months.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 3 has a leg up in this case because it's been out in early access for a while now. So people have already played very far into the game. So
not that far. It's only the first act. It's only the first act.
Yeah. But, it's still the first act. But
and I think a lot of people are waiting for the full release, me including. Yeah. Because I didn't want to play an unfinished game. I didn't want to play something that I knew that it would still work on. I didn't want to invest 40 hours in what's technically a demo and then replay and get that full experience. So I'm waiting, and I'm probably picking that one up after Starfield, not before.
Right. I might pick it up before. So I'm not sure which one I want to play first, if I can afford both of them.
Well, I got Starfield with my video card, so
yeah, I know. I should buy a new motherboard and a new CPU and some new memory, so that I can get Starfield as well. But
I think like talking about Starfield, because Baldur's Gate is I don't know if you could call it like a AA indie or something. Like the way they chose early, because they use early access to get feedback, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Bethesda with Starfield, I think because the game has been in development for so long,
both of them have been.
Yeah. But I don't know. I actually think that Baldur's Gate 3 is way more complex, especially with all the different story splits you have, and all the different systems, and like the complete rule set of Dungeons and Dragons. I think Starfield is a relatively simpler game than something like Baldur's Gate.
Which
more
is surprising.
Yeah. It's there's one storyline, There might be a few, splits and choices that you can make, but I think it's far less complex in that sense.
Yeah.
And I also feel that the game is built in segments, right? So you have the planet stuff, you have the space stuff, and all the things in between, like stations that you walk on. So there's probably going to be load times between that, meaning that they could develop all those chunks separately. And I think that Starfield has been in the polish state for a lot longer than we think.
Yeah.
We can already see, like, if you look at the first presentation of the actual gameplay and you compare it to the direct, you can see so many improvements, like in a glance. I've seen comparisons as well, like complete locations that have, it has improved instead of a downgrade. The game has actually had upgrades in visual fidelity. So I think I think what they did is they have a very long beta thing for Starfield. That they've been like
in beta period.
Yeah, they've been in that last chunk of development for much longer. That's why also you got those comments from that one guy at Microsoft that said that this is Bethesda's most polished product, least buggy.
Yeah.
But like people are laughing at that, right? Because come on, it's Bethesda,
It could be seen as a joke.
Yeah, it could be seen as a joke as well. But I kind of have this feeling that it could be very good on launch. I really do hope that. I'm a very, like, I've seen so many like, that's another thing that happens in gaming communities, is that people are going in with a negative mindset for these things. And I try to stay positive because I want these games to perform. I want these games to release in a good state. So, especially for a future where everything becomes digital, that you want those games to run well at launch. Especially these ambitious projects that are only going to get more ambitious. There's probably dozens of Unreal Engine 5 games still in development. Because the engine is not that old yet.
And it's really good engine, really solid engine. Yeah.
So that's always going to be a thing, right? It's going to go up in complexity, and that's also
the complexity. The Unreal Engine 5, it does have systems in there that makes the complexity easier, faster to develop.
It's more streamlined.
That will really help. Yeah, so I hope that will eventually help with the polish and the time that people have to perfect the game, instead of working with a buggy engine and then having no time to polish all that stuff.
Yeah,
leading to terrible games.
I mean, it's great that we have
that don't perform.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that we have an Unreal Engine 5, which it adapts also to new hardware, because that's also a thing, right? Your engine has to. New hardware comes out, it just handles data differently. So you need an engine that understands that, understands the hardware and can use it to full potential.
That can utilize
like SSDs and memory, etc. So
what did you say, Benjiro?
That can utilize it correctly. Things like direct storage that is coming into play very, very shortly.
I hope so, because that would be a real game changer for a lot of people. I mean, we've seen what it does on the PlayStation 5, and that sort of stuff with direct storage. It just works a lot better. It really helps. People keep complaining about loading times. I am fine with loading times because I grew up with slower systems than usual, so I never was ahead of the curve. So I'm fine with that, but I get that people are. The loading times don't really help for a lot of people. I want to play a game real fast, and
I'm spoiled. I'm absolutely spoiled.
I have. But you work hard for that, so you have every right to be spoiled.
So I own Forza on my Xbox. I played it mostly on my Xbox, and today to test the graphics card, I played it on PC, and loading took forever. It felt like it took forever. And that wasn't the case on Xbox. Like, you would boot it up and it would work within Like 10 seconds, you're actually driving. And it took like half a minute before it ran up on my PC. Although it's also an SSD, it's not direct storage, so it's not the same fidelity.
Yeah. Also on Xbox, it's more optimized for that system itself. So that can really. I mean, for PC, you have so many different factors you need to work with.
Yeah, and I was also booting it for the first time, so it was probably compiling some shaders, getting all that stuff done. So it took a little longer because the second time I booted it up, it was faster than the first time for sure. But still, those 10 seconds in my mind, it lasted for an hour. Like I was, I felt like I was waiting for an hour.
Yeah, you are spoiled.
I am absolutely spoiled. But that's where we're going, and I think Mansman has a really good point there, that discs are not part of that ecosystem. They don't belong there. They can't handle the data throughput that we're currently having.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Even Blu-rays are getting too small to include the whole of the game.
There are
Final Fantasy
make
came on multiple
Blu-rays.
discs.
Yeah.
I think bigger Blu-rays are also a thing. Currently, they
Blu-rays
can go up to
still
120
slow.
gigabytes.
Yeah, but they're still slow.
But they're still slower. I mean,
but Blu-rays are still like. Remember this? We're old people, so we remember speeds on DVD and CD drives, right? Remember the 52x, the 16 speed. Blu-ray drives are still up to 16. If you go any faster than that, it becomes unstable because of the way the data is compressed.
Yeah.
So it's
it's also depend. Yeah, I mean,
it's actually much slower than DVD and CD was back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think discs. I think it's gonna be harder for the old school gamers, our generation and older. Because they got used to having cartridges and collecting games.
Yeah,
plopping them in whenever they want to and just play them.
You're gonna miss that experience. The experience we had when we were kids, where we went to a toy store or a game store, and you could pick something up from the shelf, and especially when you were a young kid, I'm kind of saddened that my kids will not experience picking up a game from the store and just reading the manual, because there are no manuals anymore. Let's be honest, that's good. That went away a couple of years ago. In the back of the car, we used to open the manual, just to read it and look at the screenshots and
inside out.
Just imagine what that game would be by the time we got home, which usually is like a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive, whatever. But we were anticipating playing that game, and nowadays you're waiting until a progress bar finishes up, and there's nothing. Like literally, Jaina started. My eldest is 5 years old. She wanted to play Mario Kart today, so she has her own Switch, which is one of our old Switches. We're terrible people, so we bought OLEDs for ourselves, and the kids can have the older stuff. And she was just literally looking at
spoiled.
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, so she was just literally I put Mario Kart in there, and we were downloading the content because they keep updating the game. She was just looking at that progress bar on the screen like this, like zombified, looking at a progress bar, and that's when it hit me like, oh my God, she's never gonna have that experience of just plugging something in and it instantly works. Obviously, she can play with daddy's old toys and get that, but it's never gonna be the same.
Nope. No. It's going to be install first.
Yeah. Yep. You're never going to have that same anticipation.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have that experience of going into the store and looking at those new video games and picking them up.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey Smurf, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing good.
Oh, hey man.
Hey Smurf.
Welcome, Smurf.
So it's a sad thing, but I think we should accept it now and not be disappointed when it happens, because I feel I think next gen might be the one.
Yeah. It kind of depends on what Nintendo is doing.
True. But I do remember I think it was the Xbox One, where there was this whole discussion of being digital only, or about secondhand games, right? that it was going to be an issue with
Yeah, that
one of
was
the
the
platforms.
Xbox One. Yeah.
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 All that stuff that they, of course, reverted back to that because the world was not ready. But yeah, now I think we're going to see digital only. I think there's going to be a lot of outcry and just a lot of a little bit crackling going on. Oh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's you, buddy. I think
Me?
it's
Oh
Matt's
my
man.
god.
Yeah.
Wait, let me change. Wait, I forgot this thing. Maybe that'll help. Just a sec.
It happens. It happens.
There we go. See if that's better.
We all have issues with the mic sometimes.
I turned off echo cancellation. Maybe that did something.
Okay.
I think it helped a little. Yeah, I think you're less crackly.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, what was I saying? I was saying something, and then of course I cut myself. Yeah, digital games. I think it's just going to be the future. Yeah, I think it's going to cause a lot of uproar. But I think it's going to be the way. I think someone has to make that hard punch for it, and because it's just necessary for games. I think
And
you can have your disc, but.
And let's be honest, they're sort of already moving in that direction. We're currently having two SKUs coming out from both developers, or not developers, platform holders. We have a physical version, we have a digital version. There are rumors that Sony will actually bring a detachable disk drive into the next version.
Yeah, probably PS5 Pro, and there have been rumors about that today.
Yeah, I don't believe those rumors. I didn't want to bring it up.
Me neither.
They're gonna run 8K at 60.
Yeah.
Really?
We don't need 8K, dude. We don't need 8K. So what you should focus on is making RTX
Are they gonna give me an 8K
consoles.
television? Because I can't afford one. I just said I'm spoiled, but I'm not that spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I think
it's so stupid.
That's also a thing that I see with a lot of console games. They focus so much on resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should focus on other things.
And performance is way more important.
Performance is way more important. Yeah.
Especially when games are upping their detail and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with Starfield, right? That it's going to be 30 on console. Yes, it is sad to see that happen, but it was going to happen, and we're going to see a lot more games on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 going to that 30 frames locked. Especially if you're talking about these big games, it's going to happen. So it's either that or there has to be some very smart use of the hardware. But yeah, it's always the last few games are always going to be like less in performance and more in visual fidelity.
Yeah, they're always going to push it.
Yeah.
So
because shiny sells better, right?
Yeah, which is weird in some way because
that's because you can't sell frames unless you know how it feels to play something at a high frame rate. You can't sell it. You can't sell it in a trailer. You can market high frame rate. There's just no way, because some people don't even feel it, or
they don't see it.
Or they don't see it. Matt's man is very very sensitive to that kind of stuff. He can see if something runs 60 or above. All I see is that everything that's 60 or above is like, it looks buttery smooth to me.
Yeah. It's basically trained my brain into that stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be the same from like what was it?
But it took Mariko. It took her, I think, up until this year to actually see and notice the difference between 30 and 60. She didn't see that or notice that before. I was like, this game sucks. It runs at 30. I hate aiming in this game. And she like, I don't see a difference. And at some point I think she played something on 30 that moved over to 60 later. And that's when it clicked for her, and now she can actually sense it. But you can't do that with a trailer. There's just no way.
I remember doing that with showing that to friends with DMC, the Devil May Cry made by the other team, the other developers, which was 30 on console. A Devil May Cry game at 30, and then I showed them the PC version, and they were like, "Oh, that's way more smooth. Like, what the hell?" Like you have to always show them comparisons that you can see it. You can always you can see like strobing around, like you can see the different steps in it at 30. But yeah, I heard that a lot of people that don't see it. So
Okay.
it happens a lot more than you think. But yeah, that don't see the difference or they don't care about it, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
what we are going to see is just like vinyl went away for a while. I think in this case, I don't think physical is going to be gone completely. If there's still support for the new Switch and that sort of stuff, but it will be picked up by smaller studios.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I don't think that will limited run games.
Yeah,
but I don't think they will pick up like AAA games because they are more expensive.
yeah.
So
I mean, that also means that the next console generation is going to have to like increase their storage capacity.
Yeah.
Their drives.
Oh yeah,
Because,
like 1 terabyte is not enough anymore in that case.
Yeah,
The
and I
games
think
are already
it
getting
will
bigger,
too.
and
I think 1 terabyte isn't enough already. Like the PlayStation actually has like 800. I instantly popped an SSD or an SSD in there because there was no way that was enough.
No,
And
exactly.
I instantly had to buy the expansion pack for the Xbox. And you do see that Microsoft actually got that because they did announce that Xbox Series S, the black version that is 1 terabyte. So they already, doubled the storage on that one because they realized that 512 definitely didn't make the cut.
No.
And they added another manufacturer. I think before it was just SanDisk or no Seagate that made them, and now I think it's there's another one. I think it's SanDisk now. I'm not.
SanDisk?
I'm not sure which one. There's another one that actually is a little cheaper to acquire.
Right. Oh, I think that's SanDisk. Yeah, SanDisk is quite cheaper.
Yeah. And maybe developers should also look at new ways to compress their data and be smarter about that. That's one of the big things. Because you see the trend with Call of Duty and Warzone and how unbelievably big data pools that are.
The stuff bloats into like 500 gigs installs. It's nuts.
And I guess it's
This is why we have issues with Destiny 2 vaulting content.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't play the story anymore because, or the main game anymore because they didn't want to bloat your system.
Yeah, and that's just painful.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there might be a technical reason behind it that they have to do that to load it faster, right?
There is a way,
they have to, but there has to be like new technology or new methods in programming.
But even old methods work. Look at the Master Chief Collection. You can basically decide what game you want to install instead of installing all of them, which is fantastic. If I could do that on Destiny and I could just decide that I want to play the original Destiny with those missions, and I had the ability to just check a box and that they would install that for me.
Yeah.
Then it was my choice. So
that's a very good system. Yeah.
Yeah. Just segmented. Yeah.
Obviously, compression, stuff like that would be better. Maybe doing something in combination with a cloud version that you might be able to stream that old stuff in, so it doesn't bloat your system.
Yeah,
I don't know. That could work. But just
There's
a simple
lot of solutions.
checkbox, which is a very old school way of doing things. Like you decide which part of the game you want installed, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember Metal Gear Solid 4 where it basically installs the next set of chapters, and you had the smoking snuff. I mean, of course, that was terrible because of Blu-ray's slow loading speed.
Yeah.
That was a terrible solution, but if you could speed that up somehow, like, I don't know. I guess they have to do it that way. They have to kind of segment their parts of the game, so people can play single player or multiplayer or both, and just make sure that the hard drives are not going to get blown up.
Yeah. Or you keep having to uninstall or reinstall stuff you want to play. That's kind of annoying as well.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, SSD is pretty good at not degrading that fast, or is it a problem if you're constantly swapping data?
I think SSDs do. I mean, I'm not sure how the new versions are.
Mhm.
But I know that in the past it was said that you can better install things on your hard drive instead of your SSD because of the limited amount of read and write
Yeah,
options you have.
exactly. That's
I'm
what
not
Yeah,
I.
sure
that's always gonna happen. The
yeah.
problem is with the current consoles, and that needs to change with the right of repair. It just needs to be an M.2 drive because right now they're
Oh yeah,
actually soldered on the
only
board.
close.
So
Yeah.
when they eventually go, which they will, because they have a limited amount of rewrites,
Hmm.
um, your console's gonna die, and there's
Yeah.
no way of stopping it unless you know how to desolder and solder those chips, which is micro
Hmm.
soldering. So that's definitely not for everyone.
Nope.
Um,
Oh,
so
we'll have to
eventually
look
that
then.
will
Yeah.
kill your drive. So usually what I'm doing if I'm installing stuff and I have the tendency to just put it on my external drive, so like on my
Hmm.
actually my M.2 that's in my
Oh
PlayStation or
great.
on the
Yeah.
external Seagate drive that I have on my
Yeah.
Xbox because
Not
I'm
on the main
okay
drive.
with if
Yeah.
those die because I can replace those. I can't
Yeah.
replace the internal storage.
Right. And your saves are backed up anyway online. So
Yeah, they're on the cloud. But
yeah.
still, those consoles
Yeah.
will all die because
Yeah.
of SSDs.
Hmm.
And one other thing with going digital in the future is that secondhand games are going to be a thing of the past
Yeah.
Yeah.
for new games.
Yeah.
You cannot go to eBay and buy a copy of
Nope.
Starfield or Alan Wake 2
It's
because
forever
it's
linked to your account.
yeah,
Uh,
unless you sell your account, of course. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy stuff.
Or you give your account to your kids
Yeah.
and you can't play
So
anymore.
Well,
so that's another
there's
thing.
stuff like family sharing that they could activate, and
Mhm.
that's at least alleviating some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's still the fact that you're usually stuck to one storefront. There's just one store.
Unless,
Like,
wait,
But
I'm just getting ideas. I mean, technically, if they could make it that you could sell an account-bound game to another account, if they implement a system like that, so you
yeah, but
lose it on
yeah,
your account and they get it, right?
right.
If so, you give your account ID or something, and then
mhm.
you could like transfer your game from your account to theirs.
I
Is
mean, it
that
could
something that
technically be. Yeah, it
could
could
that be done?
technically work.
That
Technically, it could work, of course, but they don't want that.
No,
They
of
don't
course
want to
not.
do that.
They're
They're not
gonna
going to do
stall
I don't
that.
that.
know.
They're gonna stall that as much.
They might need to. But there's one person there's one company that needs to take that front seat to that. And let's be
Valve.
honest, that's gonna lead to gambling. And that's gonna lead to legislation and that's gonna lead to
Yep.
issues. Because we
Yep.
had something like that with the story. No, they were in-game items to be fair, but if you played PUBG, you could sell a jacket you got in PUBG. If you
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh yeah.
same with the card game they did, and so
Yeah.
there are some
Team
other
Fortress
games.
2.
Well, we
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, or the guns in Counter Strike, like the gun skins. We could sell
Mm-hmm.
those back in the day. We can't sell those anymore because people started gambling that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that what's gonna happen if you can't just gift somebody your games, like basically it would work the same way, right? Instead of it being a skin, it would just be a game that you would gift to someone else or sell to
Yeah.
someone else on the marketplace. But people will start gambling those,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
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 We're
Good
our own worst
questions.
enemy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People are always gonna try stuff.
Yeah, we can't have nice things. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So.
it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo does because they're the first one up for a hardware refresh. If
Yeah.
they actually go without physical media, if that's what they do, then the clock is running out, and next
Yeah.
console,
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
console cycle will be fully digital. If they
Everybody will
still
follow.
have physical, it will probably be Xbox that will go first because they're already pushing in that direction.
Yeah.
Physical's not
Yes.
really
Sony less
selling.
so. Well,
Their
not
store
here.
their
I
store
know.
presence is low. I've seen pictures
I know.
of GameStop in the
Mhm.
States, and it's
Yeah.
they have like
Yeah.
one one segment where
Yeah.
basically Nintendo has half a floor and Sony has the other part, and they're like stuck in a cupboard, by the side of the,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
stuck in a
They
corner.
also lost this generation, according to themselves. So, that is a huge part of that as well, because I know that with the Wii U, their shelf space was also very limited. So, it wasn't as big at some point anymore after like a year already. So, yeah, that was pushed aside. So I think that also comes with the lack of sales of the console itself and the lack of games in general.
Yeah, I'm not
so
sure. I
I
think
think
Game
that.
Pass is also killing it because
Oh yeah,
people are not buying
yeah,
it because people can play it
yeah.
on Game Pass. Like my brother
Mm-hmm.
called me an idiot for buying for wanting to buy Starfield, and obviously I canceled it. But
But you did buy
I
it somehow.
yeah, but I wanted to buy the Xbox version digital because
Yeah,
there's like hardly any Xbox physical games.
I
So I
know.
didn't. So I
I know.
wanted to buy a physical version so I could have
Mm-hmm.
Starfield physical.
Yeah.
And I called my
So.
brother, and he's very much into the Xbox ecosystem. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Are you gonna play Starfield?" I'm like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually have it pre-ordered." He's like, "Are you an idiot? Why are you pre-ordering this game?" I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, I want to have this game." Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can play it on Game Pass. Why would you buy it if you can just play it on Game Pass? You're gonna have the full game right there. And
Dude,
it doesn't
he
cost
doesn't
you
understand.
anything.
Yeah, but he doesn't understand that you're a collector.
Yeah, but
So
collectors are, he is
yeah,
he's more of the casual gamer,
yeah,
the one that
exactly.
the guy that plays FIFA, the guy that plays Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
every year,
Yeah.
and tries some other games. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the majority of gamers. Like not everybody is a collector.
Nope.
I'm gonna show you
Nope.
my watch when I get it.
I definitely
But
want to see the watch.
yeah,
I'm
so
really.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's for me. It's for me buying the collector's edition is kind of a meme, but also
Right.
because it just looks cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So and I can
I
afford it.
have
It's
to
for
do
me.
with
It's that
I just have to do with the controller, man.
the
Look at
controller looks
beautiful.
great.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
there it is. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
so fun. I was playing Forza on it today, and you can actually see the motors in your triggers. You can actually see them turn.
Oh, that's pretty
Oh
cool.
right,
That's
yeah, the
fantastic
transparent thing.
because they're
Yeah,
Yeah.
transparent. It's fantastic. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
so retro and old school.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I like it. Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's our main topic. Do we have
Mm-hmm.
anything we want to add?
Well, I always keep an eye on things that happen unexpectedly on Twitter, but I think it's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
don't
whole
have
news.
anything
We were kind of
either.
like low down on the news, but we
Yeah.
actually had some things to discuss this week. So
Yeah.
I think we had a good discussion.
This
Yeah.
was a good topic. I'm not a fan. I don't like. I really hate that physical is going away. I really
yeah,
hate it. I
I
really,
know.
really
I
hate it.
agree.
I also collect vinyl, so
Yeah, I have over
Yeah.
140 physical Switch games. I'm
I
not
know.
happy to see them go.
I have
But
10. I'm
But you
way
still
behind.
have them, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that's not going to go away.
I have Xbox games. I have Xbox 360 games. I have Saturn games. I have Mega CD games, 16-bit games. I see a couple of Nintendo 64 games. I have quite a collection.
Yeah,
I would say
Only-
a
I
lot
got a
of
few more.
PlayStation games.
only this week,
PC.
guys. Like literally only just this week, I got the
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol for $15. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It was $15. I got
Mhm.
Tina's Wonderland for $15. They're all still sealed because I didn't have time to play them. And I got Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, 3 PS5 games, and I paid 15. Actually, I paid like $40 total. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
For
Yeah.
3 physical games.
Yeah.
And that's something we're not gonna have because obviously you're gonna have your sales, but it's not gonna be the same as look, guys, I got these games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to hold them anymore.
I mean, yeah, I bought, what is it, Project IGI for like 50 cents or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're
I don't have any
gonna.
physical games on hand. I need to get up if I want to get them. But
I also
yeah.
had to get up, but yeah, still.
So the thing is, I did want to mention that like Yakuza or Like a Dragon Gaiden isn't getting a physical release in the US and probably not Europe
In
either.
the West, yeah.
Yeah, in the West, but it is getting one in Asia because that market still buys their games, and that's why I got Ghost Trick, for instance, on the Switch physical through the Asian market. But it really sucks that is happening.
Yeah, I will probably pick that game up because I own every Like a Dragon game. Like we called them Yakuza before. I own every single one physical.
Yakuza / Like a Dragon. Yeah, same here.
And
except for
I will pick it up on PlayAsia for sure.
Yeah, I mean I didn't get Yakuza 5 on PlayStation 3 because it never got a physical release here. But it's part of the remastered collection anyway.
They tried it before.
I know it happened before. I mean, same with Capcom. They're doing it again with what was it? I mean, they did it again now with Ghost Trick, but they also did it with Ace Attorney and the great Ace Attorney version.
I know. And
so I mean,
unfortunately, more of them are following suit. Like more of the companies, like Baldur's Gate is not coming out physically. The Alan Wake is not coming out physically. Like more and more companies are going digital only. And to be fair, it saves them a bunch of money on production. It saves them money on transport. Because they do have to transport all these games all across the world. For some of them to just end up on a shelf and not be bought. Like it's a financial investment that is not necessary. Unfortunately, the developers will not get paid more. It will all go to the execs, but it's a way to cut costs. It's a way to cut costs.
There is some other positives, right? I mean, if you have a digital game, if you drop your physical game from accidentally, or it's in the wash, or I don't know what kind of things you could do with this physical game, you lost it. You have to get a new copy, and
I mean, that's true.
The thing that scares me about digital, though, is that if they lose their servers, then I'm still screwed, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, one more thing. I saw something from Ubisoft that you said that people are losing when they lose their servers. I saw someone. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I haven't looked into it, but I saw it earlier this morning. That Ubisoft sent out an email to someone because they haven't used their Ubisoft account in a while.
No, that was phishing. That was a phishing mail.
That was a phishing mail. Okay.
Don't fall for that one.
Okay, good.
I've seen it, and that person was like, I put in my password, and I gave them everything, and I'm still going to lose my account. I'm like, you're a freaking idiot.
Yeah, I just saw the screenshot of that email they got, and I'm like,
no, that was a phishing mail.
Yeah, I'm like, no, they're not gonna. No, they're not gonna do that.
They're not gonna. No, you didn't log into your account for a long time. You're gonna lose your account unless you log in. Click here to log in. Like, no, that's a phishing mail.
Yeah, but the biggest problem
is very convincing, though. To be honest.
So someone asked that to Ubisoft themselves, and their response was terrible. So that's why people were up in arms, and I just remember that.
To be fair, financially and legally, they only have to keep your account active for 5 years. If you didn't use your account for 5 years, they can get rid of your account.
True.
But
obviously, they're not going to do that.
Send Google, in regards to Gmail addresses, did send a mail out this week, stating that emails that aren't used for 3 years, not logged in for 3 years, will be deactivated and
not removed. Yeah, but not emails that have actually bought stuff on the Play Store, I think. So
but I have an email address for my daughter that I have to remember to log into because she doesn't use it herself yet. But
of course, yeah.
But that's So there is. Google is setting a precedent for actually doing something like that. But the biggest problem I have, especially when it comes to consoles, is when the store goes, can I still play my old games? Like we lost the Wii U store. Like that happened just a few months ago. Like everything you would have I think like a month and a half or something like that. But
I never bought anything digital on there. I did buy digital things on the DS and the 3DS.
I bought Little Inferno, I set stuff on fire there. I bought Mario RPG because they did re-release it on Wii U. I bought Earthbound there. I think I
Oh, wait, yeah, I
had
did buy some Virtual Console games.
I think I
I did
had
do
a
that,
digital
yeah.
copy of Wonderful 101 there. So
Mm,
yeah, I did have
right.
some stuff, and that's all gone. And that's the
Yeah.
problem with digital is when they decide to close that store, it's gone, and there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do about it. You can back it up, but if my
You
Wii
can't
U
re-download it.
dies, which
Mm-hmm.
is a problem because if you don't use your Wii U a lot, you know your NAND is gonna get corrupted. You can't use it anymore. That's we had that discussion like 2 months ago.
Yep.
So
Keep using your Wii U, Matt.
yeah, don't let it die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm doing my best.
Yeah. I mean, you're still playing
But
Wind
yeah,
Waker, so.
we can't get to those games, and like I said
Yeah.
last week, 89% of all games are not playable, or you can't obtain legally
Yeah,
anymore.
87. Yeah. 87% of
87, yeah.
games can't be bought anymore right now. It's
So
bad.
that's ridiculous, and I'm afraid that
Yeah.
if we go all digital, even though I bought these games, I can
Mhm.
still play at least a diminished version of that game.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
new version. Yeah.
At the minute, yeah, it's gonna be like buggy. It's gonna be diminished, especially the Callisto Protocol. It's gonna be terrible, but at least I
Oh,
can
yeah.
still play it. But if they ever kill
True.
that PS5 store,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not gonna be backwards compatible with a PS6, that's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
they have
that's
to
sad.
invest in the future for servers and game
Yeah.
preservation.
Yeah.
So
That's-
what
they
we
need
need
to.
is
That's the only
constant
thing.
storage
Yeah.
No,
for
Sort
those
of.
kind of things.
Steam is
Yeah.
very good about this because Steam keeps your stuff alive. Even if
Yeah.
if it gets delisted, if you actually owned it, it's not like it's gonna go away. It's still there.
True.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steam is really good about this, and
Others need
the
to
rest
follow that.
need to follow that example.
Yeah.
Your library is your library, and they're not allowed
Yeah.
to change it or take it away, especially if
Yeah.
they want to stop selling physical. And I think that's
Yeah.
a perfect ending to this segment.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we had 26 episodes of this podcast. We're gonna go on a little break.
Yes.
About 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, it's going to be about 6 weeks. We're going to be back early September. The first,
Yeah.
I think it's the first Friday of September. We're going to be back. We're going to be talking about Armored Core by then because Armored Core is going to come out on my birthday, so I'll be playing it on my birthday.
Starfield is coming out.
Starfield is coming out.
That month, yeah, a lot of
We
stuff
might have
coming out
played
in
some
that month.
Baldur's Gate. There's plenty of stuff that we're going to do in our downtime. We're going to take a look at the structure of the podcast in general. We're going to see if there's some stuff we want to switch up for season 2.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody who is here right now will be back when season 2 starts because I'm having a blast. It's fun. It's
Yes.
it's definitely something I'm looking forward to doing, and sometimes I get a little bit anxious before we actually do this. Just talk online. And
yeah, we're kind of new to this, but I think we did really well. I jumped in a few episodes in.
yeah, I think I contacted you around episode 4. Like, Mehmet, we could use an extra guy.
And it's just fun to have a little outlet and to talk about these things. And maybe discover new things as well, games or topics or viewpoints on things. So
I mean, you probably never would have played Mad Max again if I didn't talk about it a while back. Well, not as fast.
No, not as exactly. It sparked interest. The same with I think I gave Benjuro a few games to play. So stuff like that. It's really cool and
I mean, I really enjoy Halls of Torment.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're the one who came up with that game. So
I played that on a whim, basically, just checking out the Next Fest stuff. So and now it's really popular, by the way, because I see every streamer play it.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
a fun game.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked that up on release. I just bought Mad Max. I will take that along on my holiday. So there's
people that are going to enjoy Mad Max because I've been a fan of the game for a while now. So yeah.
It's been on my backlist for such a long time. I know I can play it on PlayStation, and for some reason I never did.
Oh yeah, it was also on PlayStation Plus.
It was in PlayStation Plus at some point.
Collection, yeah. I finished it on PC and PlayStation 4. So. I mean, my
Must be
PC
good then.
died, so I wanted to play, and I installed it on my PS4 because I didn't have a working PC at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
Yes.
with that being said, I would like to thank everybody who tuned in. I know that there's like a very small group of like 10 people who follow this podcast almost
On
weekly.
Twitch.
And we have some people on Twitch, we have some people on YouTube that tune in every once in a while, and we have some people on Spotify that listen to our content. So I would like to thank
Which is
everybody.
kind of weird for me, but
Yeah.
personally.
But
yeah.
thanks everybody for the support. We're gonna hope to come back, grow the community, hopefully get some guest speakers in, maybe some developers that we would love to talk to and understand their creative structures and how to process and how they create their games. That would be cool. Hopefully that's something we can do in season 2.
That would be really great. Yeah.
So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on our structure. I hope you guys have a wonderful summer, and we'll be back next year. Well,
Yes.
next school year.
Next season.
I guess next season. See you guys in September. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Oh, we didn't say where we were.
What?
We didn't have the. Where will we find you? Whether you
come
come
back.
back.
Oh yeah, no, whatever.
No, it's okay. It's the season finale because it would be important for the next episode.
We
right?
did come back.
Yeah.
What?
Oh. Hi.
What
Did we come back? Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I pressed the outro button, but it went back to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
bye, guys.
where can they find us?
Oh, fine.
Kidding.
We can still do that. You can cut it in.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, this is a perfect ending for
Yeah,
us.
it's an end season thing.
Okay. Surprise!
We didn't
We're
quit
still
yet.
here.
Woohoo.
Okay, so let's start. Metzman, where can I find you?
All right.
We are gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, just do it, man. Because there's a 6-week dry spell, so they're gonna have to look for us then.
Yeah.
So where we are again at the Metzman on Twitter. That's where I live. That's one of my socials are. I also post when I go live on Twitch when I do stream. And the vacation is over for me, so streams will be a little less frequent, maybe in the weekends, and maybe when I feel great on a work evening. But usually I'll chill out. And yeah, so Twitter is where I live, basically on the social medias, and yeah, you can follow stuff there.
Cool. Okay, and Fash, what about you?
Well, I am mostly active on Twitter if I'm active under PV Baiken, so PVBAIKUN, and yeah, mostly, like I said, mostly active on Twitter. I don't stream. It's not really my thing, but I am up for discussions. I am active on several, at least one forum, and on Discords. So yeah. That's it for me.
Thank you. Okay, and you can find me on @PixelsSprites on Twitter. You can also find me on @Benjiro8001. I'm using both. Will be and I'm usually not streaming. We're gonna have a second show coming here. Marco really wants to do. We did a show like twice, and she really wants to do that show again. Usually it's just us screwing around with tier lists, and she's just weird and very not serious. And there's no news there. We're not really talking about games. Just weird hangouts. So we're gonna start doing that probably after the holiday as well. So look forward to that, and obviously come back to Pixel Sprites and Nonsense, which will debut early September for season 2.
Yes.
So once again, thank you all for watching. Have a great summer, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you next time.
Bye.